Salut, bonjour. Je m'appelle Penuel, le stylo noir. Goeiemôre, mijn naam is Penuel, die swart pen. Sanibonani igama lami uPenuel ipeni elimnyama, usiba olunsundu. Dumelang, libitso laka ke Penuel, what's it in Sotho? Ke Penuel lipeni ensu. I think that's correct. So yeah, man, salut, bonjour, sanibonani, goeiemôre, goeiedag, hello, hi, dumelang. I hope you guys are good. It's Penuel, the black pen. Posted a tweet on the 11th of October. Let me just check. 11th of October, I just want to check the time. At 7:39 in the morning. 11 October 2023 at 7:39 in the morning. It's got 140,000 views as I send this on the 12th of October, the next day, at about 10 o'clock in the morning. 140,000 views, 800 likes, 251 retweets, and 344 comments. And I thought it necessary to actually read out this tweet for you who haven't seen the tweet, to hear some of your thoughts and some of your ideas on how we can make this happen. The tweet goes, "How to Fix South Africa" by Penuel the Black Pen. Penuel lipene linsu. Hola. Tuan is French. Penuel le stylo noir. Penelimnyam. In brackets, things I would implement if I became a dictator overnight. Things I would implement if I became a dictator overnight. Turn schools into farms, workshops, and studios, and have kids apprentice daily to learn real skills. So currently the schooling system that we have is a lot of passive learning, a lot of reading and writing and homework. But if schools were actually seen as farms where kids go to school to go and plant things and feed animals and breed livestock, if they were turned into workshops where they are building, fixing cars, electrical appliances, cell phones and other things, workshops where they manufacture clothing, etc. And studio could be an art studio where they are making artworks, could be a studio where they're making clothing. It could be a studio where they're recording film. They could be recording podcasts. They could be reporting news, etc. If we could turn schools into farms, workshops, and studios, and I probably left out here sports fields, of which some schools do have great sporting facilities, and have kids apprentice daily to learn real skills. That is a very important one to fix South Africa. The next one is scrap grades in schools. I know Finland has done this, and Finland is seen as having the best and the most progressive schooling system in the world. Scrap grades in schools and measure proficiency rather. What does that mean? It means in the world that we live in today, having a matric certificate, having a GDE, having your Cambridge A levels, having a diploma, a degree, is not as important as a portfolio of evidence of what you have achieved. If you can leave school after grade 12 and say, well, we call it grade 12, but you'd be scrapping the grades. If you can leave school after 10 years and say, this is how many chickens I have raised, how many eggs I've sold, this is how many cars I've fixed, this is how many podcasts I've shot, this is how many coding exercises I've done, this is how many clothing items I've made and sold, I think that carries more weight than a qualification and a grade. And at school level, you want to measure proficiency. You want to measure if a child understands these concepts and can move on and build furthermore than that. If you want to build a house, you want to put the foundation first. You don't just say, look, we only have 3 weeks for the foundation. And just because 3 weeks is up, but it's been raining, it doesn't matter. It's 3 weeks, let it go on. It shouldn't work like that. So scrap grades in schools and measure proficiency, rather have a portfolio of evidence. The next one is remove focus on qualifications and put more focus on portfolios of work completed. It's basically a continuation of my previous one. Especially in the tech world in Silicon Valley, Mark Zuckerberg has said it, Elon Musk has said it, Peter Thiel has said it, I think Jeff Bezos has said it. I do not really care about your qualification. I care about what skills do you have and what problems can you solve. If you can show me what problems you've solved and what skills you have, I will hire you because we need people to solve problems, people with skills. The fact that you got a distinction in your degree doesn't really do anything for my company. I'm here to make money. I'm here to serve clients. I'm here to solve problems. And if you can prove that you've been able to do that, I will hire you. The next one is scrap all social grants. This one is very controversial for a lot of people, specifically the child grant. Scrap all social grants, which is free money given to poor South Africans, and then turn the old age grants, which we call pension, into vouchers and other benefits and not into money. A lot of old people, their money goes into supporting their grandchildren, their children. Some of the money gets spent at liquor stores, etc. Some of the money they're bullied by their children and grandchildren to hand over. So they should get benefits. Could be free transport. They could pick up groceries in certain stores that track what they picked up, etc., etc. That's for old people. For children, for people that are unemployed, scrap social grants. Because we're going to be investing in schools that are teaching apprenticeship in skills, we do not need people that are just sitting getting free things. The next one is make Wi-Fi, internet free across South Africa to all educational and business trading websites only. What that means is pornography, websites on useless entertainment, those will not be free. You can then go and sign up with one of the network providers and go and consume that, and brainless movies. Documentaries, educational movies, Wikipedia, the Khan Academy, Coursera, YouTube, and maybe even specific YouTube channels, make them all free so that children that want to learn can learn, and old people that want to learn can learn. And do the same for business trading websites, whether it's an Alibaba, I don't know if OLX is still around, whether it's a Gumtree, a junk mail, where people can trade, a Fiverr, where they can make money. Those will be free as well. PayPal, etc. Let people be able to use those for free. And I think that would become a game changer and an equalizer in South Africa. Another one is compulsory 3 months, a compulsory 3 months military training for all citizens once every 5 years. Of course, if you're disabled, if you're very old, if you're not really able, it's fine, we'll excuse you. But for everyone else, just for 3 months, because I understand this thing of compulsory military conscription for a year or 2 years might take out too much time. But people can sacrifice 3 months every 5 years. The other thing about 1 year of military training is that you never do a follow-up of that training ever again, and you may lose those skills. But you can imagine, as soon as you finish grade 7, for 3 months, you begin basic military training. You learn how to handle a gun, you know basic combat, you learn discipline. 5 years later, when you're in matric, you go for another 3 months. There you're learning how to precision shooting. There you're learning warfare and military strategy. Then you're learning other more detailed things. 5 years later, when you're 23, you're learning how war happens. You're learning how to defend your country. You're learning intelligence systems for 3 months. And you come back with those skills and you can implement them into society. So compulsory 3 months military training for all citizens once every 5 years. The next one is compulsory sports engagement for all citizens. I think Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso, when he took over, tried to do something like this. Along with planting trees everywhere, along with getting people to do community service. I know Paul Kagame in Rwanda now has a day in the month where everyone has to clean. It's a day for cleaning, picking up dirt, cleaning your house, cleaning your business, etc. But this one is compulsory sports engagement for all citizens. What that does is it ensures that we have a healthy society. Healthy. If everyone is running or walking or swimming or cycling or playing football, rugby, cricket, netball, hockey, if everyone is playing sports, we have a healthy society. It decreases our need for public health care. It decreases our need for people doing crime. And very importantly, it helps us identify more talented people so that we have more sports stars that can be showcased to the world. More sports stars showcased to the world. We can even add here compulsory singing and acting and dancing for all citizens so that we become a nation of sports people, singers, dancers that are talented and dynamic in their being. No politician should be allowed to be in business or to own shares in businesses or get in-kind benefits from businesses. In South Africa right now, we've got huge conflicts of interest. You've got the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe, who's in business in that space. You've got the Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan, who's got investments in certain businesses that clash with the work he's meant to do. You've got a Minister of Health, Joe Phaahla, before it was William Kize. You've got the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, who does business, who has game farms, who is selling cattle, Ankole cattle, who supplies coal to Eskom, who is involved in alternative energies, and huge conflict of interest. Why would they want to serve the nation if they can make more money in private enterprise? So politicians should not be allowed in business at all, and they should not be allowed to buy shares in businesses or get in-kind benefits. Your work you get paid, and then your priority should be working and serving the country to become the best it can be. Scrap all taxes except for VAT. Our VAT is currently 15%. I'd probably bump it up to 20 and maybe even 30%. 30% VAT, and then scrap personal income tax, scrap corporate income tax, but make sure that VAT on all purchases is at 20%, maybe 30%. That way it's easier to collect tax. Everyone who's spending money, we collect tax, and we don't have to deal with these cumbersome tax records that we have currently. Force businesses to invest their reserves. I heard scary stats. I don't even know what the number is, but let's say between 100 to 400 billion rand in South Africa is sitting in business reserves. So you've got a big business somewhere with 5 billion rand in reserves. You've got a big business somewhere with 200 million rand in reserves. You've got a medium-sized business somewhere with 10 million rand in reserves. You've got a business somewhere with 10 billion rand in reserves. These businesses should be forced to invest their money. Why is money sitting in a country and an economy that is stalling, that is not doing well? We need you to invest in infrastructure. We will not let you have reserves, but we need it in business. Government will help you where they can when you're struggling, but you need to prove that when you are winning, when you have a bumper harvest, you are reinvesting in the economy and reinvesting in the country. So force businesses to invest their reserves. Take away land from those who are not using it and give it to those who are. If there is a farmer out there who has extended his land, he has farmed all the land, the cows are full, you go and take land where someone else is not doing anything with the land and you give it to that farmer. You have found a property developer who has exceeded the land. He's built the flats, he's built the shopping centers, he's built the malls. Go and find a piece of land somewhere that people are not using, give it to that person to work the land. Someone is out there hosting social development classes. Someone is out there hosting children in sports. Someone is out there doing amazing things with land, hosting hiking, camping, building schools. You give that person land and you take it from the people that are not using the land. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be a non-profit organization. It could be a company. It could be a tribal leader. It could be a private citizen. It could be a foreign investor. It doesn't matter. If you are not working the land, we will take it from you and we will give it to someone who's working the land. Farmers sometimes need to let land sit so that the land can be rehabilitated, especially after a harvest. It's like a woman who has given birth. Her body needs to recover. You can't just get her pregnant immediately. You let her recover. You let her eat. You let her exercise, some bio oil, happy event to rub and remove some of the stretch marks, and you let her heal. The land is the same. You let it rehabilitate. You let it sit. You put manure, fertilizer, you water it so that it's ready for the next time that you are sowing seeds. So that is fine. If you can explain that, it's okay. But for the rest of the land that's just sitting, take that land and give it to the people who are working it, regardless of their race, regardless of their nationality, regardless of whether they're politically connected or not. Scrap Black economic empowerment, affirmative action, and women empowerment as policies. These policies, as noble as they are, have failed this country and they've been misused. Again, if you are investing in skills, if the schooling system is teaching children how to actually be productive and they can solve problems and they have a portfolio of evidence, you will not need to hire based on race. You will not need to hire based on gender. The people with the skills will be able to, if they cannot get hired, they will be able to do those things themselves because they already have the skills. So we won't even need these things because the people will have the skills to be productive. Block. This one will have a huge backlash from the international community. But this is how you fix South Africa. Some of the things that we need to do to fix South Africa are uncomfortable for us and for the rest of the world. But if we don't want to fix them, things will not change. Block imports of goods and services that can be delivered locally, that can be farmed, produced, manufactured, built, serviced locally. Block those goods and services. Be like, we do not need t-shirts. We can make t-shirts here. We do not need tomatoes. Why are we importing tomatoes? Why importing chickens from Brazil or America when we can grow our own chickens here? So no, we block those. On the other side, increase import tariffs for foreign goods and services. So some of the things, your iPhones, your Samsung phones, your increase the import tariffs, make it more expensive for South African to import those things and have a desire to be like, since the children are learning how to build and fix cars, since the children are learning how to fix and build cell phones and laptops and computers and kettles and microwaves and toasters and fridges, can we maybe try and industrialize South Africa? Because buying a fridge from overseas is super expensive. Buying a cell phone from, let's try and build our own. And you do that by increasing import tariffs. Not number one. The next one, a 1-year maternity leave for all mothers. This thing of 3 or 4 months maternity leave does not make any sense at all. I understand many people are in business. I'm in business to make money. I'm not in business to do charity work. Understood. But we need a workforce. We need a citizenry. We need soldiers going into the future, and we need them to be as healthy as possible. And for that, we need the people that are baking, building, manufacturing these children to be in their best state. During pregnancy and even towards the last few months, women should sit at home and relax. Put their feet up, exercise, stretch, eat well, glow. And then after giving birth, at least give them 1 year to bond with their child, to breastfeed, to get to know the child, to be there for the child and to bond with the child. That's a worthy investment for the future of the nation. How do we fund these things? Of course, it's easier. We can, even with our employees in those companies, make sure that we take a small tax. Can be 1%, 2%, 5% of their current salaries. Whether they are aware or not, we can do it indirectly, where we have a fund for women that are giving birth because we need them for the future. So we can fund that in that way. 1 year maternity leave. There are countries that currently do it out in the world. And these women, when they come back, they can work a little bit extra time. They can maybe for another 2 years thereafter, 3 years thereafter, have a work contract where you're going to work an extra 1 hour per day to work off the fact that you had a maternity leave. Her and the father of the child as well, he also will have to work an extra hour because you're paying back for the fact that you guys could take leave to go and spend time with your child. This one is something I heard from Mustafa when he was speaking about his trip to China. Forcefully spread the population across the nation. No one wants to go to provinces and cities and towns. So how do you do it? You do this by spreading out key businesses across South Africa and not concentrated in certain geographies. Why must all the factories be in Ekurhuleni, in the east end of Gauteng, of Johannesburg? Why must all the big businesses and the banks be in Sandton? Why must all the big head offices be in the Western Cape and Cape Town? Why? Why must all the things be happening in Richards Bay or Durban? Spread it out. Force by regulation or through tax incentives or some other incentive subsidies, certain businesses to say, you will be based in Bloemfontein. You will be based in Nelspruit in Mbombela. You will be based in Rustenburg, in Mahikeng. You will be based in the Northern Cape. You will be based in Port Elizabeth, Gqeberha. You will be based in Mont in East London. You will be based in Polokwane. You will be based in Tzaneen. You will be based in Qwaqwa. You will be based in Newcastle, in Maritzburg. You will be based in Tinaghe. We need to have as many businesses spread across the country as possible so that we are developing the whole country into cities. China has done this exceptionally well. The next one is revive the railway network and upgrade it. The ANC government has absolutely destroyed our railway network themselves with their apartheid friends and with their business friends who make money through trucking, who make money from private courier services. Again, this is why we need politicians to be far away from business. We need to revive our railway system for goods and for passengers, and we need to upgrade it to be world class. There needs to be a train flowing everywhere around the country at great speeds, especially for our commodities, Mpumalanga to Richards Bay, to Durban, to Port Elizabeth, to East London, to Cape Town. Things must be moving like this, and we need a quick, strong, brilliant railway system. Very, very important. Revive South African Airways and make it the cheapest airline in South Africa. South Africa as a nation needs its own airline. As a nation, we need our own airline, and it needs to be the cheapest airline in South Africa so that people are traveling as cheaply as possible. Durban to Cape Town to George to Mbombela, Mbombela to Pretoria, flying like this. Ordinary people must be flying. I've got a meeting. I'm just flying for 1 hour quickly. I'll be back. I don't need to catch a 6-hour bus. I don't need to catch a 7. I'm just flying quick in and out. And we can do this. And SA can be one. We can have others as well that are making it very easy to travel here. And South Africans that want to travel to other African countries, that want to travel internationally for business because they're going to be making us money. We need to make sure that they're flying at the cheapest rate possible. Make busing and taxi rides free and pay all drivers a basic salary. So this one will receive a huge backlash from the taxi industry and the taxi mafia. Find a way to incorporate the taxi bosses and the bus bosses into the transport system so that they're still making close to as much money they're making now as CEOs, as executives, as head managers doesn't matter, to manage the system, but not the way they're doing it now. And then all the drivers of the buses, of the taxis, get signed as employees, and they get a basic salary, plus they get other benefits, etc. And they work. And then the taxis and the buses, because they are in the interest of stimulating the economy, become free. For students, for employees, for people that want to go and spend money somewhere else, going to fetch products somewhere else, taxis and buses should be free. Same with the rail. And we as an economy need to be funding the movement of the goods, services, and people as well. This one got a lot of backlash. It probably speaks to half, if not 3/4 of the comments that I got here. Scrap all official languages and leave English and isiZulu. I have left the Zulu nation culturally under the nation. MisiZulu is not my king. I do have Zulu heritage. It's where I come from. It's the nation I come from. It's like coming from KwaZulu Natal, but I now live in Johannesburg, Gauteng. It's like living overseas, and I used to come from South Africa. I am no longer Zulu under the Zulu nation, but I have a Zulu heritage. And the language is the most spoken language in the country, 24%. And the fact that it is also understood by AmaXhosa, AmaNdebele, AmaSwati, it takes it up to about 50%. That people understand as a language of communication. The second one is English, because right now the British colonized us, and almost all of us, Afrikaans, Xitsonga, Tshivenda, all of us understand English. Number one. Number two, it allows us to connect with the rest of the world. With America, with Canada, with parts of the United Kingdom, with parts of Europe, with parts of Asia. So it becomes a language that we can speak collectively, and that allows us to connect with the world. But internally, our language becomes isiZulu. We scrap the others as official languages, not as languages. I'm not saying no one must speak Afrikaans, no one must speak Sesotho, no one must speak Spade. No, you can speak whatever language you want. You're from Limpopo, you speak Tshivenda, speak Tshivenda. You're from the Eastern Cape, you speak Xhosa, speak Xhosa. You're from Mpumalanga, you speak Ndebele, speak your Swati, speak your Sotho, speak your Spade, it's fine. But as official languages, where when you get into parliament, when you're discussing business, every person either understands isiZulu, isiNguni, if we put it more correctly, isiNguni, or they speak English. If a Xitsonga person is like, I don't want to learn Nguni, it's fine. You will do business, you will conduct yourself in English. The next person will do so in Nguni. This allows us to streamline this country and to move forward and to push for unity. The most advanced countries in the world have one language. We're wasting time with 11, now 12 with sign languages that are entertaining minority groups. How many people can speak this language as an official language? Not to say don't speak the language, enjoy your language and your culture, but as official languages, get rid of them. Force the entertainment, I still have a long list to go, jeez. Force the entertainment industry to create empowering content instead of mindless entertainment, and use the entertainment industry to become a propaganda tool globally. America has managed to use Hollywood as their biggest propaganda machine. The FBI, the CIA, America's getting bombed, the aliens are coming, Independence Day, and propaganda. And we buy into it. So I'm saying South Africa needs to use our entertainment industry as propaganda. What is beautiful about South Africa? Make TV series, soapies, movies that showcase the beauty of Cape Town, the beauty of Durban as tourist attractions. Make a drama series about the Drakensberg Mountains and the fights there. Have a series about the mountains in Mpumalanga. Have a series about mining and the pitfalls of mining in South Africa. Make sure that we are a propaganda tool, and it highlights how our police and our soldiers are great, how our politicians are the smartest and the most strategic. And you incentivize that. You send to the SABC, you send to MultiChoice and DSTV, you send to ETV, you send even to a Netflix South Africa to say, this is the agenda we're pushing now. We will have English, isiZulu as official languages. We will make sure we have enough diversity in the people there. And then we want you guys to make enriching, enlightening, educational content so that children watch a show like Generations and learn how the law works. Children watch Uzalo and they learn how politics works. People watch Durban Gen and they figure out how the mining industry works, or the river and how mining works. And they watch Isibaya and they find out how the transport industry works, or how livestock farming works. And they watch Penuel and they learn how the healthcare system works. We have the ability to do this if we have a strict mandate to make sure that our entertainment industry is focused on education and not just a mindless entertainment. Deport all illegal foreigners. Deport all illegal and foreign. This is not even meant to be a discussion. The fact that the Helen Suzman Foundation is speaking about human rights, the fact that other NGOs are telling us about human rights, the fact that there's certain politicians who are saying, no, naturalize these people, it's annoying. They should not be here. They broke the law. It is a crime to be here illegally. No other country in the world allows people to come in and out as if it's just a taxi rank. There is no country in the world. There is no country in the world where anyone can go there without announcing themselves and just do as they please. But in South Africa, we've got NGOs and certain politicians who are saying, come on, guys, come on. No, deport all illegal foreigners aggressively. Send them back to their hometowns, home countries. They want to come back, they must do it the right way. And then audit unnecessary legal foreigners who are here legally. Fine, we're happy to have them that are here so that they can comfortably be sent home if we don't need them. Why do we have an Uber driver from another country? Why? That's not a scarce skill. Why do we have a nurse from another country? That is not a scarce skill. We have enough unemployed South Africans who can be taught these skills to engage in the economy here. When a foreigner comes here legally, they are doing so because they are a tourist coming to have a good time. They are doing it because they came to have business meetings or whatever the case may be. They are here because they're coming to visit their family, which is pretty dope. Or they're coming here because they're bringing a scarce skill. A head surgeon somewhere, an actuarial scientist somewhere, an engineer that is coming to help us build something somewhere, a scarce skill. For the rest of them, they can go. Unless we have a shortage and we can explain that we're currently in the process of upskilling South Africans, but we have a shortage, therefore they are welcome. Once we've covered that shortage, thank you for your service. We will pay you and we'll comfortably transport you back home. Very important. Strengthen the borders. There is no powerful home, there is no powerful castle, there is no powerful kingdom, there is no powerful country that does not have a strong wall, a strong fence, a strong border system with aggressive security, with drone surveillance, with a strong army. Strengthen our borders. Minimize foreign social media and other internet platforms and monitor data flowing to other nations. China has done this amazingly well. North Korea, can't even speak about the Kim family and what they've gotten right. You've got, in China, Google products don't work there. YouTube, Gmail, GPS, Google, they don't work there. And they've got their local alternatives there. Meta products, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, they don't work there. They've got their local alternatives. We're not ready to have local alternatives, but we need to minimize. Do we really need Facebook, WhatsApp? We had mixed it. We can build our own platforms for our own data in the country. And some of the information that flows out, it was the issue America had with Huawei and TikTok. You guys are taking American data and you're sending it to China. And you're like, but you guys do that to the rest of the world. You guys with Googles and your Facebooks are taking all our data and you're aware of what's going on in our country. We need to treat our data and our privacy with more sovereignty. And that starts with us investing in our tech spaces and in our social media spaces as well. Increase the prices of all key commodities and other materials exported to the USA, Europe, and Asia. This could probably start a war, bring in rebel groups, have a coup d'etat, have people saying South Africa doesn't have a democracy, they need to be liberated, and Obama and Biden and George Bush will send their military services. The reality is that Africa is treated like that rural village where you go and exploit. The DRC, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Sudan, a place like South Africa. We're seeing now with West Africa and the uranium what they're doing. South Africa, like OPEC, the oil countries, is meant to say, we are sitting in South Africa and we are deciding, you guys are buying our gold for too cheap. You're buying our coal for too cheap, our platinum for too cheap. We've got things like lithium, cobalt, copper. It's too cheap. You guys are buying the stuff at a steal. You refine it, you beneficiate it, and then you sell us your iPhones and your clothing and at an exorbitant rate so that you're milking us. It's like going to a village and getting the mamas there to make beadwork and to make clothing and to do all these cool things. You give them 5 rand each and then you go and export it to Europe, to Asia, to America for $100. You gave them 5 rand, you're exporting it for $500. And then if South Africans want to buy it, you're like, oh, we'll give you a discount. We'll sell it to you for $100. You're exploiting us. Our commodities on this continent are being exploited. And at some point, someone has to say enough is enough. And part of it is increasing the prices and saying, no, we've got gold and copper. Yes, you can go get it somewhere else. But for now, we're bumping up prices by 20%. If you guys are serious about us, and if you guys are serious about trading with us. Aggressively push for more organic medicines and natural healthcare practices. This one will upset the pharmaceutical companies, the big pharma, which has captured your biggest politicians, your biggest businesses, your biggest media houses through ad spend, etc. They don't like this. Their healthcare system globally as a mafia organization. We need to aggressively push for more organic medicines and natural healthcare practices. It is something we had in Africa before. It's something they push in Asia. And we can use our entertainment platforms, our social media platforms to teach about herbal remedies, to teach about better ways of hygiene, to teach about better ways of dental care, spending time in the sun, walking barefoot, hugging people, not using harmful soaps, not using harmful toothpaste, and. More organic, more herbal. Convert our legal system, which you currently have, into a justice system. Sounds like the same thing. No, it's not. Convert our legal system, the law, into a justice system, what is just, what is fair, and remove money as a determinant of whether one gets justice or not. Today, if you cannot afford bail of 5,000 Rand, you get to stay in jail. The person with money with 5,000 Rand gets to go home. That is an injustice. Why does he get to go home? Because he has money. Why can't he go home? Because he doesn't have money. Why is he getting off? Because he could afford an expensive lawyer. He had to get legal aid, which is free. Unfortunately, they don't prioritize him. That is not just. It's legal, but it's not just. So we need to convert our system into a justice system which focuses on what is fair and right and remove money. Lawyers, judges, and those guys should not be chasing after money. They should not, one lawyer shouldn't be getting paid more than another lawyer. That doesn't even work. It's a no from me. Turn prisoners into slave labor to do the hardest jobs available. I've got cheap labor in the prison sitting, doing nothing. These guys need to work. They need to go and dig in the mines. They need to work on the farms and sweat and break their backs. They need to work in the quarries. We need to put them to work. They are serving society. They are serving communities. They are paying. They are being rehabilitated, and they are doing work instead of sitting around discussing with each other what fucking crimes they're going to commit once they get out. Turn prisoners into slave labor. Make bartering as seamless as possible as an alternative to using currencies. We've got the Rand today, we've got the American dollar, we've got the Chinese RMB, yuan, we've got the Japanese yen, we've got the British pound, we've got the euro, etc., etc. And now we've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies. Bartering is a currency. How do we make it so easy for South Africans to be like, you will give me a loaf of bread, I will tutor your child. We've bartered on a platform that can capture the value. Not in Rand, not in dollar, but in some other point system. So that we barter with each other. Because we're close to each other, I can give you a lift, you will give me a sandwich. I will help you with your homework, you will help me on the sports field. And we exchange value. So we need to find systems or build systems that make bartering easy. A huge investment is required into advanced weapons and the best soldiers and intelligence on earth, especially with some of the things I was speaking about, with our commodities, with increasing import tariffs, with making sure that all our people are getting military training. We are going to have to invest in advanced weapons and the best soldiers and intelligence on earth. The American army is huge. They've got over 600 military bases in the world. The Chinese army they've got the biggest army in terms of number of soldiers, and they've invested a lot. Russia, nuclear. North Korea, nuclear. We are not even allowed to have nuclear on the African continent because we signed some pub deal that we're not allowed to have nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, all these other nations in America, they have nuclear weapons. Bullshit. We need to be able to do the same. So a huge investment into advanced weapons and the best soldiers and intelligence on earth. Sell all state-owned enterprises to the private sector. Government and politicians should not be managing Eskom and Escor and Telkom and Sasol. They are not business people. They are politicians. They are meant to sit, come up with policies and regulation. So give these things to business. Let the business people, the entrepreneurs, run these things. Sell all state-owned enterprises, including SAA, including Transnet, sell them to business people, and then regulate all the key industries. So the politicians are going to say, okay, SAA is gone, Eskom is gone, Transnet is gone, they're gone. We've sold them, or we've sold them in portions to business people out there. But we will regulate them. You will not just fire people there. You will not just hike up the prices and charge whatever you want. You will not just switch off electricity there because you feel like it because it's business. No, we will regulate you and we will make sure that you're doing the right thing on behalf of South African people. In Russia and in China, government sits on top, business sits underneath. In South Africa, business sits on top and they dictate to government underneath. That thing needs to switch, where the government gets to dictate to business. This is how you're going to do things, because we are trying to develop this nation for the benefit of everyone who lives here, who's a South African citizen. Deregulate electricity generation and reinvest nuclear energy. Deregulate means Eskom has a monopoly. We've spoken about independent power producers, but you need to split it up. Something similar to artisanal mining, amazamazama. People should be allowed to mine. A small person with a pick and a shovel should be able to go and mine and make themselves 10,000, 20,000 rand a month. It can't just be big mining companies and Gwede Mantashe being the gatekeeper to licenses. No. Small people should be able to go and mine and make some money. Similarly with electricity, people should be able to get a small license, be able to generate power for a little complex, generate power for a little shopping center, generate and make some money off that. So deregulate electricity generation and then reinvest in nuclear energy, where currently the ANC government, Cyril Ramaphosa, and the $8.5 billion loan/bribe from the West to go into renewables. No, one of the renewables is meant to be nuclear energy. It is green, it is sustainable, it is great, it is cheap. I'll stop there for now. PS, it's very important. I need to add that these things can be done at a family, community, city level. So it isn't just about doing this at national level, but finding ways to implement this in our own areas of influence. That was my tweet that I sent yesterday at 22:08 in the morning on the 11th of October. 140,000 views, 800 likes, 344 comments. How to fix South Africa by Penuel the Black Pen. Look at some of these. I'm just going to go on them so that you can bring them close to home. Don't be like, hey, Penuel for president. We need a benevolent dictator. Be like, lead in your own home. How can you take the list of these things and implement them in your home, in your business, in your church, in your community, in your town? Turn schools into farms, workshops, and studios. So you go to your child's school, you suggest or you drive the agenda to say, we're going to start a school garden here. We are going to build a little workshop and we're going to send people to teach kids how to use tools. We're going to create like a little podcast studio in our school so that kids learn how to create social media content. If you can't do this at school, you do it at home. You have a little garden. Make sure that one of the rooms the kids get to make TikTok videos, etc., etc. This is very, very important. You can do it in your community as well. Scrap grades in schools. That's like for you and your kids, and measure proficiency. You can be like, look, I know you did grade 9, but what do you know? In this 2023, my child, what have you learned? I've learned a new language. I've learned how to ride a bicycle. I now know how to use a monkey wrench. I now understand electricity. So we can measure that this year, these are the skills that you learned. More important than the grade. Scrapping social grants is almost saying, I will not give my children an allowance for free. They need to earn their keep. You will get money if you wash the dishes, if you wash my car, if you clean the house, if you work in the vegetable garden and you show me produce. Just because you're born doesn't mean you're just going to get an allowance just for existing. You will earn this money. Free Wi-Fi you can easily make in your home or in your complex, maybe through a levy of some sorts. Compulsory military training. Your children every day can do push-ups and squats and calf raises. Your children can learn how to lift weights. You can learn how to lift weights. You can take your children or the children in the community to the shooting range once every month just to go and learn how to handle guns. These things they are boot camps. I know some of the voortrekkers, the Afrikaners, and some of the Afrikaners, they do this military training, these military training camps. Compulsory sports engagement is something you can have in your community. Everyone in this home is going to do sports. Working the land, you look around your own family and you see in your family who has extra rooms. In all the properties who has extra rooms that we can rent out as a family. We will rent out those rooms. We will collect that rent and then we'll give you a little bit of that money. So it's in a way taking away resources and space from other family members. Block imports, goods and services that can be delivered locally. In your family, in your community, what can you guys produce? Eggs. Do you guys need to go and buy eggs from Woolies if you guys can have chickens in your complex? Do you guys need to go and import t-shirts if there's a woman in your area who can sew these things very well. So you guys need to start looking within and saying, what can we produce for ourselves so that we don't need to buy from these stores anymore? 1 year maternity leave for all mothers is something that you can subsidize as a family. If there's someone in your family who's about to have a child and you want to give them an extra 2 months, because then it's going to be unpaid leave at work, as a family, put money together and say, listen, take an extra 2 months. We as a family have come up with 20,000 Rand, 30,000, 50,000 Rand for you to enjoy for the next 2 months while you're not working. And in that way, we help each other. And then once you go back to work, you can pay us back every month 2,000 Rand, 3,000 Rand, so that we carry on doing it for other people as well. Scrap all official languages. In your own family, I hope you guys have one language of communication. It makes things better. Even in your community, can you guys pick one language that you speak in your community so that it's easy to trade with one another? Force the entertainment industry to create empowering content. Look within your home. What are your children watching on TikTok? What are your children watching on YouTube, on Instagram? What are you watching on Netflix? What are you watching on SABC and MultiChoice? Is it empowering content? Sit with your children and say, give me a list of all your favorite shows. And then ask, what do you learn from these shows? And if they're not telling you anything productive, okay, we're going to change. I've spoken to parents in the past. Start very early. It is not a comfortable transition. It's very uncomfortable, but you get into it. Start playing more National Geographic on your TV. Start playing more Discovery Channel. Start playing more History Channel. Play a Master Chef, and especially where the kids are cooking. Yes, you want to watch cartoons. Yes, you want to watch Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. But every now and then switch to these other shows so that your kids are learning stuff. They're learning about animals. They're learning about wars. Be intentional. Even if you're watching movies, what did we learn from this movie? Take your kids to the cinema to watch a movie and get them to make a video or to write up a movie review for you so that they are learning. So that the next time they go to a movie or they're watching something, they're like, I know mom is going to ask me what did I learn here. I know dad is going to ask me what was my takeouts. Mom, dad, I went to and watched the Barbie movie. These are the things I took out. They were speaking about matriarchy versus patriarchy, where men are undervalued and women are overhyped. And in another world, the men lead and the women are devalued. And how do we have this conversation? You're like, shit. You're intentional about what you're consuming and you're learning. Strengthen borders is something easy for your home. You make sure that your fence, you've got electric fence, you've got an alarm system, you've got security. It's something that townships need to do. Townships need to follow the Orania model. Townships, Soweto, Tembisa, KwaMashu, Emlazi, Emadadeni, Osizweni, Emdansane, Ezwide, Emotherwell, New Brighton, eGugulethu, KwaNyanga, KwaLanga, eKhayelitsha, KwaNyamazane, wherever, Deep Sloot, Alexandra. How do we build borders so that not just anyone is coming in and out of our township, and not just anyone is coming to build spaza shops and car washes and shisanyamas in our townships because they don't even live there? Black person lives in the suburbs, has a business in the township, takes all of that township money to the suburbs, but doesn't reinvest in the local schools, in the local churches, in the local programs. We need to be intentional. So that is something you can do even in your own community. Aggressively push for more organic medicines and natural healthcare practices. This again is something we can do as communities. Before you go to the pharmacies, are there natural things we can consume? Can we get ginger? Can we get honey? Can we get garlic? Can we maybe boil eucalyptus? Can we maybe eat something? Can we maybe boil lemon? Let's be more natural. Do I really need to exercise? Do I really need to take medicine? Or do I just need to rest and sleep? Maybe take some walks in the sun. Maybe go walk in the sand. Maybe go sweat a little bit and get better. We have the ability to do a lot of these things. How to fix South Africa. And I think from here moving forward, more and more of us need to engage and we need to sit together in various spaces. And I invite you to invite me into your home, into your community, your church, your area, your Stockfeld to say, Pen, I heard some of your ideas. I like some of them. Please, can you sit with us and can we maybe brainstorm how to make this a reality? We will pay you money. We will barter with you. We will do whatever to add value in your life, but help us. We want to build fences and borders around our church, we want to build vegetable gardens at our schools. We want to make sports available in our schools. Our schools don't even have sports, etc. We have the ability. Penuel, the black pen. Penuel, the sword pen. Penuel, ipen linsu. Penuel, l'estilo noir. Penuel, the black pen. I love you guys very much. I believe in you guys very much. Tot since nsale gahle, salane hantle. Au revoir. Salut. See you guys soon. Cheers.